Okay, well the door is not closing because it's too tight right here. But to show you how it's... Look, it's bumping up against there. Now at the top it looks pretty good. I'm just going to move the hinge butt over. See how loose those hinges are? So, there's a couple of ways to do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the whole hinge over. Just tiny little bit. Take these 3 screws out. Now look, I'm going to loosen up the last one, and instead of taking it out, I'm going to pull it over and move it over just a little bit so I don't lose the door itself. I'll take that one out, and before I go too far I'm going to test the door to make sure that I've got it. Now look, you see that gap there? That's what I did. I just moved the door over. So let's see if it closes. Now look at how it fits properly. And I'm going to put the other 2 screws in instead of making a mountain out of a molehill. Now you could do the same thing if the hinge is on top. Now look, see the old hole there? I'm going to force a new hole over this way some. Now, anybody can do these simple repairs, but most people don't know how. Normally, if you have a problem with the door, all you got to really do is tighten up the screws. They do come loose all the time. Okay, look, we're done. Now, watch how it closes properly. There you go. Nothing to it. Okay, you ever have a sticking door? I'm going to show you how to fix them. There's different ways, but you take a look here, and there's a nice wide gap on the bottom. That's how a door should be. I'm going to open it just so you get a reference point to where you're at. But if you take a look here at the top, you see those where the paint's come off a little bit? When you close it, look at how tight it is here. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a mark here with a pencil where I want it to be, and then I'm going to take this thing off the hinges. See how it's getting a little bit wider here? And wider, and that's about where you want it to be. So what this involves will be, we're going to shave the door down. Because I'm near the lock here, I'm going to pop the lock off with my power screwdriver here. Now, a lot of people don't have a power planer. You could do this with a sander if you want, or a piece of sandpaper. It'll take a long time. But now that I've got that off, I'm going to take the door off the hinges. And let's see. Requires very few tools. Take a screwdriver and pop these hinges off here. Take that one off. And I could be unscrewing the hinges, but then I won't have them in the same exact spot. Obviously, these haven't been off in a while. And you could do this from this side or the other side of the door. And now I'm going to take the door outside and plane this off because it's going to make too much of a mess to do it in the homeowner's house. Okay, what I've got here is a power planer. Now, if you don't have a power planer, you can do it. You can do the same job with a little sander, but like I say, that takes longer. And I'm just going to pull some of this off. At my line, you can hardly see it. When I move that whole line, that's going to be what I'm correcting in the door. Now watch as I make a pass. You see, I'm really close here. I'm good here, but I still want to eliminate that line. And one more pass I'm going to get. Now I got a little bit of paint there. I'm going to chip this thing just a little bit. Now, I'm going to swap over to the sander and finish this, just so I don't have a high, rough edge on the door. What I'm doing is I'm rounding my edge off here, but if you see here, it's real sharp. You could actually cut yourself on it, and I'm gonna just take that off. Now this door is ready to go back in. I'd like to tell you, a lot of times when you paint a door and you paint the door molding, you're making the door stick because you've added distance to the door. And that's basically all we're doing here. Okay, back inside. Okay, now I've got my 2 hinge pins and a hammer, and put the door back on. First, you want to line up the top one like that. Same with the bottom one. Okay, now we'll just test it. Look at that. See the distance here? Like I said before, we took a pencil, we made a mark there. Now see how it clears all the way down. And actually now the door is working fine. See, it's not rubbing anymore. And just a minute here, we'll have it back together again. Put the handle back in. Line that back up. I always put the top screw in first because I can see it. No other reason. and our door works perfectly. No more sticking. Look here, if you take a look at the old jamb, you see these marks here? That's probably because they painted the door and they added so much paint to it that it was making this stick. If you come inside here, I'm going to show you the last part of it, but we're not doing it. We're just going to paint this again, paint it white, and that'll complete the job like a professional would do it. Thank you very much. Okay, this door is not closing, it's not latching. You can see here, it's not working at all. The reason is that this strike plate is in the wrong position and the door itself is sagged down a little bit. So now we have to move the strike plate back down so it lines up. I'd like to show you on this side what's wrong with it. Take a look here, and you see this little crack on the bottom here? We're going to move it back down to that position, which should make it latch. Now I'm going to take it off to start. I'm going to put some new holes in there. First thing. Now, you can lower it down to about here. See, now I've got it down. Okay, now I'm going to take that little piece off of here just to bring it down a little bit with my chisel. Just a little bit. There, I took that little piece off. Now, I'm going to put the strike plate right exactly there. And now this is sticking up a little bit right there. And I'm going to pop that off with a chisel. Bring it back down. Follow the grain of the wood. Now there, I want to try this on and see if it's any better. It's just a tiny bit there. It still has to come off. A lot of this is just when you paint. The guy took it off instead of taping it. Now, it should fit in there a lot nicer. Yep. Yeah, now I'm down to the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to go to a bigger screw. See, this little screw here, it's all eaten up in here. And look at, you can just push it in there with your hand. You know that's not going to hold. What I'm going to do is use a bigger screw. I'm going to pilot a new hole. But what it's going to do is go all the way into my frame. Because a lot of times your door jambs are so beat up. Now look, if you don't have it perfectly lined up, you can take the chisel and set it down. Okay, that didn't work, so I'm going to reline the screw. You got to work it sometimes. There's just, like I say, the hole is so messed up. I'm going to line that up. Lots of ways to do that. Now I want to test my door to make sure that it's closing where I want it to close. Okay, now I'm ready to put another screw in there. These are 1 5/8 inch. You can go with a smaller 1 1/4. but you can see I got problems with not having a good hole. I'm starting to pilot it, and then I'm going to turn it over to where I want it to go. And you got to try to get these screws to be flush here, otherwise you're hitting against the strike plate. I just tighten them up a little bit. And let's see how this door closes from both sides. That's what we're looking for. Now this, let me show you completed where it lines up with this. See how it's in the center of that strike there? That's close to the center. And if you look at the strike plate, they're real tall on purpose, larger than the others, so you can have plenty of room for mistakes. Right here. That's what you want, a door that works real easy.